Hello, Gary here. I want to talk a little bit about this pulse situation and tariffs and so on that are coming on. Everybody seems to be in a bit of a stir about it. And this is a piece that was put together by the International Food Policy Research Institute. And some of the numbers are a little bit old, but I think the trends are kind of interesting. And it does help answer some questions about this. And I think the key thing is the changing consumption patterns as to what's happening. And it's not going to totally explain what pulses look like in the future, but these changes are really covered off in this fellow's presentation in four different ways. And I think that's what we'll try and address here is the change in dietary pattern, the consumption of pulses, and the sources of protein, and the gap that they speak of in the supply and demand is simply what they need for exports. Now, the changing dietary pattern, keep in mind what the units are here is their kilograms per capita per year. So these are the changes, the percent changes that's happening. So they are down from, and they're saying that this was what happened between 1988 to 2009, and we know that that trend is likely going to continue. And I think the thing to look at here is rice, wheat, other cereals, the pulses, and sugar are all down, while the middle class is favoring edible oils, vegetables, fruits, and milk. And on the bottom of this chart that was cut off is meats. And these things are all gathering steam. And that's to be expected in the middle class. I mean, that is the dietary shift as people get more money. And this economy has been rolling right along. So that's part of it. To look at the poor households versus the rich households, which this fellow wanted to look at, well, it's obvious that the rich are going to eat a lot more of the eggs and the fish and meat. And you can see that change is pretty dramatic, whereas sugar still continues to drop here. And looking at what the percent changes are in the rich and the poor households, you can see that the drop off in rice in the rich people is a little more dramatic, and wheat also, but the wheat is not near the drop. So the poor households are having to eat more wheat and sticking with the wheat and rice, whereas the rich ones are moving over to other products. The pulses, on the other hand, have seen, I would say, a slightly larger drop in the richer households, but are still pretty predominant. They haven't seen the drops that other cereals and products have taken. So this is sort of interesting to me that there's still some carry through on this marketplace. So the products that are gaining or seeing the biggest changes here, really you can see chickpeas, and again keep in mind this is kilograms per capita per annum. So this is a different number. I mean, there's a lot of people here at play. But when you look at chickpeas have had the smaller drop off than a lot of other products that are here. And when you get down to yellow peas, they've actually gone up. And as the print in the bottom says, is that chickpeas followed by pigeon peas are the most important pulses, but their consumption is declining. And instead of that, they're moving over to the cheaper ones, which are yellow peas, soybeans, and grassy. And that's interesting that that change has taken place. So this means that this is part of the reason why you're seeing the tariff on yellow peas, is that they're seeing a 73% or change in that and in the soybeans. So there's things of interest on this side. So when you look at the structural change in the consumption of pulses, in other words, the percent share of the diets in total, you can see that actually yellow peas have had a significant change upward, and they look good, and the lentils have dropped off only but slightly, and chickpeas have increased dramatically. So that's where the money is, in the chickpeas and in the yellow peas that they need, and that's why they're tariffing it to try and get them to grow more. So this changing pulse situation, what's it look like for the bigger picture as we go down the road? In 2010, they were short 3.47 million tons, and that's what they had to import, and they're projecting by 2030 that they're still going to need 2 to 3 million tons of imports. So the imports of pulses, the range of products may change slightly, but the lentil business and the chickpea business look still pretty decent, and the yellow peas. I see that as being something that will be with us. So I'm a little less concerned by what's going on here, in the fact that it's more about the change in diets than it is anything else. So with that, just put that in the back of your hat right now when you're starting to do your plans. I know a lot of you are looking to the pulses, and the market has dropped off considerably in light of these announcements. And don't forget that, generally speaking, the markets rely a lot on the media. The media uses a microscope with a slide under it, and they'll focus on something for a while, and then it'll go away. So keep in mind, and staying in touch with your brokers is going to be important. So stay safe, and thank you for watching this, and we'll be in touch.